Says the Medrash Rabba, continues in the Psycho, Ois Chavagim also. As Salam Asois Nosa Shchino, the Shchino itself made 10 stamps on its way out of the Beis HaMikdash, and out of our midst. Mikruv Likruv, it first started going from the Kruvim, from one Kruv to another, and the Kruv that represented the Rebbeinu Shalom to the Kruv that symbolically represented the Kal Yisrael. Mikruv Lemiftan Abayis, and from there it went from this Kruv that represented us to the threshold, the doorstep of the house. Mina Miftan Abayis Lekruvim, and then went back to the Kruvim. Umina Kruvim L'Shara Kadmoini, went from the Kruvim to the front gate. Mishara Kadmoini L'Chotzer, from the front gate it went to the Chotzer, to the courtyard of the Beis HaMikdash. Umina Chotzer, from the courtyard it traveled Legag to the roof of the Beis HaMikdash, which is back inside. Umina Gag LaMizbeach, it went from the roof of the Mizbeach to the Mizbeach. Umina Mizbeach LaChoimel, and from the Mizbeach it went to the walls of Har HaBayis, which is the farthest it went yet. Umina Choimel Le'ir, and from the walls of Har HaBayis it went to the city of Yerushalayim, the old city, what we call now. Umina Ir, and from the city it went in the Har HaZeisim, in the Mount of Olives. Umikruv, these are the Asoris Masois that the Shechina did. Says the Medrash, with Psukim to show each one of these Masois, that the 10 Masois the Shechina did. Umimiftan Abayis Lakruvim, where do we find that it went from the threshold, from the doorstep, back to the Kruvim? It says the pasuk Vayetzik Vayed Hashem al Miftan Abayis, and the Kavod HaKadosh Baruch Hu went from the doorstep, from the threshold of the Beis HaMikdash, Vayamad al Kruvim, and it went back to rest upon the Kruvim. Vayot, says the Medrash, Vayot Aloi Hayotzarich Kari Elemeimo. It didn't need to tell us that it left. There's nothing news about that. El Vayavoy. It should have said that it came. What does it mean that it left? If it went from the Miftan Abayis back into the Kodesh HaKadoshim to rest its presence, the Shechina's presence upon the Kruvim, we don't leave, it came back. It's a parable to a king who left his palace in rage. When he left, he came back, he would caress, he would kiss the walls of his palace. And the support, the eloquent and carved support pillars of his palace. And the king would cry and would say, Havi Shalom Beisi, oh, I hope all is well, my home. Beis Paltin, Shali, hope all is well, my palace. Havi Shalom Beis Malchusi, I hope all is well, my majestic dwelling. Havi Shalom Beis Yikari, my dearest abode, I hope all is well. Havi Shalom Min Kaduin, Havi Shalom, I hope all is well with you. Kach, such it was when the Kadosh Baruch Hu left us, when the Shechina left us. Misha hoist the Shechina yotzes mi Beis HaMikdash, when the Shechina left the Beis HaMikdash, hoist choizeres, umigafefes, umenashekes, bekosle Beis HaMikdash. The Shechina would caress, kiss the walls of the Beis HaMikdash, ba'amude Beis HaMikdash, and the pillars, support pillars that hold up the Beis HaMikdash. And the Shechina cried and said, Havi Shalom Beis HaMikdash, all be well. My holy abode, Havi Shalom Beis Malchusi, the place of the Rebbeinu Shalom's majesty, all should be well with you. Havi Shalom Beis Yikari, my dearest abode, I hope all is well with you. Havi Shalom Min Chadun, Havi Shalom. The Medrash continues in Ois Chof Zayin. every one of them, when they would approach the subject of Tisha Be'avSelect, here in the preface, in the Psicha to the Medrash Eicha Rabati, every one of them had their opening statement, how they delved into the very topic, to the very subject. Rav Pinchas Pasach, he opened up his drashas for Tisha B'av. His approach started with the pasuk in Vayikra. The pasuk in Rabbeinu Shalom warns us, "V'im ad elu lo tishmeu li," and if after I brought upon you all these forms of punishment, horrid forms of punishment, and you're still not going to listen to me, then, etc., etc. Rav Pinchas quoted Rav Elazar and Rav Yeshua. There had two approaches to this pasuk. Rav Elazar would said, "Omer Eina Kadosh Baruch Hu maybe Piranius al Yisrael ad shemeid behem tchila." The Rebbeinu Shalom will never bring up tzaras and Klal Yisrael unless he first testified, warned us against it first. To the chsiv, like the pasuk says, "Vim ad eila." He didn't say "Vim le eila," and to these sufferings, "Vim ad eila vit." We dash in "Vim eid eila." If these sufferings, if all what we had to go, you went through until now, doesn't stand testimony, then I'm going to hold you to full account for every one of your averos. So then you're going to get more. The pasuk, the meaning of the pasuk is "Shelo yu Yisroi oimrim kalu makos oid eino acherus lavi aleinu." Whew, wasn't pleasant, but we're still alive. Still kicking. He's out of what to punish us. We win. We can keep doing what we want. It wasn't pleasant, but we're still alive, so do whatever we want. For that very reason, the Rebbeinu Shalom said, "V'im ad eile," and if this was enough, I'll bring more. Talmud loimo v'im ad eile, and that's im ad eile. What's the meaning of that? Im yesh la acheres me'eile v'chayle lahavi. If there's more punishments that he could bring us on us, says the pasuk, "V'yosafti li eschem," I will continue to add to suffering I'm bringing upon you in punishment. Shev al chatosechem, sevenfold on the verse of Don. Why? Says the Medrash, Atum avatum fonai sheva averos, 7 primary basic averos have encompassed their actions. Now you're going to come and receive, in light of them, 7 types of suffering. Because you've done 7 base forms of averos. Yirmi will now come and lament upon you 7 times alphabetically with Megillas Eicha. This Eicha starts, each parak has, most of the Brakim have one round, starts Aleph, all the Pesukim, Eicha starts with a base, the next Pasuk starts with a base, Eicha starts with an Aleph, the next Pasuk starts with a base, the next one with a Gimel. It's alphabetical, except for one parak which is multiple Alephs, multiple bases. Comes out to be 7. Continues the Medrash, in the Psicha, in the preface, in Ois Lamed. Zavdi ben Nevi Pasach. Zavdi ben Nevi would start his drashas to Tisha B'av with this following passage: Lo ye'eminu malchei eretz. The nations, the leaders of the world, couldn't believe what Klal Yisrael are going through, undergoing. Dalet melachim hayu masha tavazeh lo tavazeh. The meaning of the pasuk is that there were 4 types, there were 4 levels of kings that we had in Klal Yisrael, and what each one of them came with demands to the Rebbeinu Shalom, the other one didn't come to that level. And all 4 of these, called Malchei Eretz, all the leaders of the world, couldn't believe their ears when they heard about it. They couldn't believe that such a thing exists. Such a level of closeness can exist between Melech Yisrael and God Himself. Ve'elu heim, these four kings, David HaMelech, Asa HaMelech, Yehoshaphat HaMelech, and Chizkiyahu HaMelech. David, what was so special about him? What did he do that all the leaders of the world could not comprehend? David says in Tehillim Yud Ches, Eldof Oivai V'Asigeim. Amar HaKadosh Baruch Hu Ani Oisekein. Rab David requested from the Rebbeinu Shalom, allow me to run after my enemies, to give chase to my enemies and catch them. The Rebbeinu Shalom said, Ani Oisekein, I'll do it for you. Like the pasuk says, his request was granted. Vayakim David mi'aneshef v'ad ha'erev l'machorosam. David smote them, attacked them, conquered them, killed them. From mi'aneshef v'ad ha'erev l'machorosam, mi'aneshef from the morning until the next evening. Ma'u l'machorosam. Why does the pasuk say l'machorosam? Their following evenings. V'shu ben Levi Omer lebeis leidos v'yamechad. He chased them for 2 nights and 1 day. The entire night. They didn't have night vision and special optics. The Rebbeinu Shalom lit up the entire night with endless lightning bolts and thunders. Like we said, David HaMelech in that parak Tehillim thanks HaKadosh Baruch Hu for lighting up his night. That was David HaMelech. Rebbeinu Shalom let me run after them through the night, through night and day, and light up before me. And the Rebbeinu Shalom did. He had endless night lights. Omar Asa HaMelech stood up before the Rebbeinu Shalom and said, "Ani ein bi koch la'ogdehem." I don't have the kayach to go run after and wage war and chase and give chase. I don't got the strength for these kind of things. Ela ani rodef v'atois v'otam v'ata. I'll give chase, but you, Rebbeinu Shalom, you kill them out. Let them trip and fall or something like that. I'm just going to chase after them, go Rah! The whole way. Amar le'ani oiseh, the Rebbeinu Shalom said, wonderful, agreed, I'm doing it. As the pasuk says, Vayidafem Asa chased him. Lefnei Asa in Simkav. Didn't say they were chased before Asa. Lefnei Hashem, lefnei Emachaneu. They were chased before, as the continuation of the pasuk says, by Hashem and Machane Hashem. Omad Yehoshaphat HaMelech, the kirva, the closest that the leaders of Klal Yisrael, Malchei Yisrael had. Yehoshaphat said, Rebbeinu Shalom, we have war on our doorstep. I don't got the strength not to give chase, not to kill anybody. I'm going to go to bed and I'm going to say Shira. I'm going to praise you, Rebbeinu Shalom, that you're taking care of everything. I'm not even going to give chase, I'm not even going to go kill them. And you'll take care of everything. You'll kill them all. Omar le'akadosh Baruch Hu, HaKadosh Baruch Hu told Asa HaMelech, Ani oiseken. Wonderful, agreed, I'm going to do it. Shenemar, ube'esech chelu b'nrino, utihilo. When Asa became praising Hashem and singing to Hashem, the passage continues, HaKadosh Baruch Hu killed them all out. The fourth king was so close to the Rebbeinu Shalom that all the nations, leaders of the world, were astounded by such a thing. Omad Chizkiyahu HaMelech came, ve'omar ani ein bi koyach lo la'arog ve'lo lirdof ve'lo lomar shira. I don't have the strength, I don't have the koychas hanefesh, not to give chase physically, not to go attack and kill, not even in the times of war and utter fear, to praise you with Rebbeinu Shalom and realize and with all my heart praise you with Shira. Even that I don't have krach to do. But I have a tremendous amount of bitachon in you, Rebbeinu Shalom. I know that you brought them to my doorstep. I know that you're the one that gave them a life, that you put in the neshama, to some extent, neshama behemis, in this goyim. If you want, you pluck their neshamas, they drop dead. Empty carcasses. Rebbeinu Shalom, ela ani yashen al mitasi, I'm just gonna go to sleep. V'ata oiseh, and you, Rebbeinu Shalom, are going to take care of the entire army that encircled Yerushalayim. Omar le'akadosh Baruch Hu. Rebbeinu Shalom said to Chizkiyahu, Ani Yoseh, I got you covered. I'll do it. Shenemar vayhi balaylo ahu vayetzem malach Hashem vayach b'machane Ashur. The Rebbeinu Shalom sent malach to kill out the entire machane Ashur. All but a few. How many were left of them? Rav Omar Asara. Shneimar v'nar v'yichtavim shechein darka shana lichtav kriyos kosev yud. Kids like scribble, and they scribble a sign, a mark. That mark is generally that fits to be the letter yud, and therefore the pasuk refers to that. It says that 10 were left of the entire machane Ashur. There were 6 left. Shisha shechein darka shel nar. Kids don't do a little mark, they do a long mark. A long mark is a vav. There were 6 left of the entire Machane Ashur to go and give witness to the world what the Rebbeinu Shalom did to them. Rav Shua ben Levi Omer, Rav Shua ben Levi says there are only 5 left. As the pasuk says, Shnaim Shloisha Gargirim B'rosh Amir, 2-3 seeds in the head of a wheat stalk. Yehuda and Rav Sima Amru, both of them said there were 9 left. Tes, so the Chsiv, as the pasuk says, Arba Chamisha b'Sifei Pariya, 4 and 5. Rav Tarchon ben Chanilai Yud Daled, there were 14 left of the Chsiv. Shneim Shloisha Gargim Reish Amir. Arba Chamisha b'Sifei Pariya. He puts all the numbers together, both the whole pasuk. Ben Kedivreya, it doesn't matter. Whoever was correct in the pasuk referring to that war with Melech Ashur. Everyone agrees. Nebuchadnezzar is one of those few that were left. One of the 10, one of the 14, one of the 9, 5, 6. Doesn't matter. Kivon Shoma le'akadosh Baruch Hu alei v'achrev beis hamikdash. And when the Rebbeinu Shalom sent a bas kol for 18 years straight, day in and day out, a bas kol in the majestic courtyard of Nebuchadnezzar, majesty he had. There's a rush of majesty he had. When the Rebbeinu Shalom sent a bas kol to say, go destroy my beis hamikdash. Omar Rabbi, I do not want. The Rebbeinu Shalom wants to send me off to my demise. I'll do the dirty work and then he punishes me. I'm not stupid enough to do such a thing. I refuse. Just like he did to my grandfather, Sancherev. Also, he went to the shores, the docks of Antuchio. And he sent his general Nevuzradim, the butcher. Rav Tabachim is the butcher. Lahachrev is Yisraelim, to destroy Yerushalayim. And Nevuzradim also Sham Gibel Shonim Umechza. For 3.5 years he laid siege to Yerushalayim. Every single day he encircled the city and looked for a weakness, a place where we could breach the walls. And he couldn't breach the walls of the Bayis Rishon. To conquer it. After 3 years, day after day, looking for something. But then you know how the troops work, you know the pattern, you know when the changing of the guards, you know everything, you did all your intel. You should, if there's a way in, you should have found it. And he didn't find it. Because actually wanted to return back to Bavel. The Rebbeinu Shalom gave him an idea before he gives up. He had an idea. Started measuring the height of the walls. And he saw that the walls of Yerushalayim were sinking into the ground 2.5 tefachim. This is a tefach. 2.5 of these a day. Roughly, this much. Achashaka Kula, until all of it sank into the ground, and there was no wall standing. V'kivan sheshaka kula, and he waited patiently until every last inch of the wall sunk into the ground. When it was all underground, nichnas v'azoinim Yerushalayim. Our enemies overran Yerushalayim. Al oisa sho loimer, on that very hour, the pasuk says, Lo yeheminu malchei eretz, l'chol yeshei tevel, ki yovei tzar v'oyev v'shar Yerushalayim. All the leaders of the world and all the inhabitants of the world couldn't believe that an enemy can such overrun Yerushalayim at all, let alone walk in with no walls. Kivan shechatu, because after all, after Klal Yisrael were choite galu. V'kivan shegalu, hitzchil yirim yamikoinen Medrash Eicha. Once we did Averis, we were forced to Golus, and once we did Golus, Yirim began being saying, lamenting on Klal Yisrael.